What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're changing the front two shocks on this 2007 Mercedes Sprinter. Both of these off of eBay because that's the cheapest place that we can get them. I'd recommend breaking the lug nuts off of these wheels before you jack it up, and then that way you can get them off easier. But we're using 3/4 or 19 millimeter. First thing I usually do is spray these with a penetrating lubricant. Yeah, just anything, WD-40, liquid wrench or whatever. This is just 50/50 transmission fluid and gasoline. I mean, it works better than WD-40 or liquid wrench. And we just mix it ourselves. Anyway, so we're taking out these two bolts here, and then that's everything we're doing here, and then we're going on the inside to take out the nut on the top. And we're using a 13/16 socket and a wrench for the inside just to hold it and get it on there. And if you have an impact or a decent sized impact, then it's definitely a lot easier. You might not have one of these, but even an air impact works pretty good. Or having a long breaker bar to get these things loosened up. But I definitely recommend spraying them with lubricant. Now, we pulled another jack over here just to support all this weight here. That way you're not putting too much tension on your brake lines and stuff like that. You can also use like a bucket or anything just to set under there. But now we're going on the inside to loosen that bolt on the inside. Seven millimeter Allen wrench. Like that, and once you got it loose, you can use the well, I mean, if you don't have a socket Allen wrench, then it's probably easier to use the crescent wrench to loosen it, or a regular wrench. We're just doing this. Yeah, that's all you do to get this thing off. And once this is off, then you can just pull the shock out. You might have to compress it a little bit in order to get it out of there. Pull the washer off and your nuts, and that's it. And then you just pull it down from the bottom. So we got all our nuts and bolts loose. Now we're just going to take this wire off. There's a clip here. Just push out on that clip and pull up. And I actually had to bend this bracket out a little bit so I could get it off. For some reason, well, like here you can see it's bent all the way in. And then I wasn't able to get it off. But so now it's all ready to take off. And yeah, I mean, we're just going to pull this out and let the jack down a little bit so we can play around with it more. And basically just pull this thing out of there and out. So here's a shock. I just popped these wires apart so I can get around them easier. Pull down from this bracket, from this washer here. Just pull down, and then this will pop out of here. And then you can just pull the top out and bring it out. Yeah, so we're going to take this boot off here. Make sure you don't damage it if you're going to reuse it. This one we're going to reuse because it's still, yeah, good and intact. We're just going to clean it a little bit. But yeah, the passenger side we're putting a new boot on. So we cleaned the inside of the boot, made sure all the dirt's out and stuff. And now we just got it set in here, and then we're just going to pull down on the top here. Just going to pull down and then pop it into that hole, and then after that we're going to line it up with the bottom holes here and put those bolts in. So we're ready to tighten the shocks up, or the bolts up. And as far as the alignment, it looks like the bolt was basically in the middle of that hole. You just check to see if your bolt's lined up in the middle. and then tighten it up. So I got the bolts tightened up, and now we're just popping this wire back on. All I gotta do is go inside and tighten up that nut inside, and then that will pull this all the way up to here. That'll pull this up to there once I tighten that up, and it'll also, once I take the jack off the van, then the shock's gonna go up and it's gonna close this gap here. So anyway, that's it for this side. I'm not even gonna film the inside, but I'm gonna take the jack and jack up this. That way it pushes the shock all the way up. That way I can get the nut on easier. But yeah, I'm sure you guys can figure that out on the inside, how to tighten that up. And then I'm gonna do the other side real quick. And the other side is exactly the same, but a little bit different. So yeah. So now we're on the passenger side of the van, and yeah, it's just like the driver's side. We got 2 bolts down here, and then the shock goes up in there, and then we've got a bolt inside. So in front of the driver's seat here, I just pulled the mat out, and then right up front here, that's where the bolt is. I just got done pulling the shock out, but yeah. So the shock on the driver's side has a broken boot on it. So I'm just gonna, I got a new one here. I got it off online for like, I don't know, 15 bucks. And I'll put links in the description. Yeah, we just pull this off, pull this end off, and then we're gonna get that steel part out of there, and you just pry this off, and then the new one pops onto there. So I pulled this plate out of the old boot there that was broken, and just gonna pop it in the new one here. Make sure that these prongs are sticking down, or that the lip is on the bottom part, so it goes in like this. And then I'm just gonna put it in here, and then there's a lip right here by my thumb. It just pops into that lip on the inside. This thing over the top. Now it's all ready to install. Usually just put the bottom end in, like I set it in there, and then I compress the top end down. And then once I have it compressed, then I can move it over and put the top end into the grommet up here. But anyway, we've got it in, ready to tighten the bolts down here. As soon as I let the jack down, yeah, you let it straight down, and the tire's usually like in here, and so it looks crooked. And then I just went and backed the van, just backed it outside and drove it back inside, and that gives the shock a little bit time to settle, and it also evens the wheel out. So now when I look at it, I can see how accurate the alignment is, and I'm just eyeballing it obviously, so it's not dead on with an alignment machine or anything, but yeah, I just wanted to check, and it looks perfect now. Like I did it, I lined up the bolt in the middle of that hole the way the old shock was, and now the alignment, the wheel looks straight and everything with the back wheel. So I would recommend doing that after you're done changing the shocks, because you don't want to change your shocks and then your wheel alignment is way off and you didn't notice it or realize it, and you go to drive it, and then your tire is just wearing on the outside or just wearing on the inside, and then you wear out your tire faster, or it doesn't drive very nice. So yeah, that's an easy way to do it. And then you can always, I'm not going to worry about aligning this because it looks very good, but if it's way off and you can't fix it, then you can always get it aligned. So I hope this video helped you out with the 2007 Sprinter van, and I think they're basically all the same. I mean, when you do order your shocks, just make sure they look exactly the same as the ones that are on your van or whatever you order. And then yeah, it's not that hard to change as long as you have the right tools. Thanks a lot for watching. Like and subscribe, put any comments down below, and we'll see you next time.